for SharePoint Online. Okay, here are all of my sites. Okay, I can go to my user profiles, I can go to my term store, records management, search, all of that. All of that is here. So if I want to add users, I can do that as well. Okay, here's my site. Site collection properties tells me who's a member of all of that. I can use this to do things, but you start to get clicked. All right, I got to click here, and I got to click this, and click this, and click this. It drives me nuts. I want to do all of this in SharePoint, or all of this in PowerShell. So, what? Really? Okay. So if I'm on premises, these are, and I've taken a poll, the top 10 actions that you would do as a SharePoint admin. Some of these things you no longer have to do on SharePoint Online. Managing timer jobs, for example, you don't have to deal with that. No, man. That managed content deployment didn't even work on premises most of the time. You don't have to worry about that anymore. Managing search. You don't have to search topology. Boy, I bet you loved that, didn't you? Anybody have to manage that? Oh my goodness.
I do have a question.
Because
we have we're on premises. So, and I don't really feel like there's a whole lot. So I had to just research. Online, you know, like if you create a custom list, well, on premises, if I create a custom list, and I wanted to be able to search that, it was custom thing, I have to go back into simple registration and start matching up stuff so that then it will magically work when it, you know, because I think if it says find an item, it should. Without saying that in the background.
Why would you think that?
I know, it's crazy talk right there. So, is it the same with online, or is it if I'm creating a
It magically works online.
it automatically works. That might tell me all this stuff.
Oh, yeah, because it indexes everything. So, you know, the one thing on premises back in the day, being a consultant, my clients always said, I want it to work like Google. I want to be able to type something in my little search bar, and I want it to find whatever it is I'm looking for. And then I wanted to be able to refine it. I mean, it got better and better and better to the point where it just got so complicated. I mean, you even had just consultants that search. Now, it's like Google, right? For online, right? I search for something, it finds it. Finds it.
It looks a little better if you put in the search library with the actual specific search document. You load that and use that as a search versus work better. I install that. It works better than our bar at the top of every page. I don't know if it's, you know, I mean, we're in 10 still, so yeah. So.
If we have time, I have a really cool search-based application I built for Catapult that I can show.
There you go.
I think it'll resonate quite well.
I hate search.
I love it.
It's a pain in the behind. These are the top actions for SharePoint Online. So although some of these things aren't the same, a lot of them are different. For example, automating processes. Woo! It got big. So now, as an IT pro, I found that my job is more into DevOps than anything else. What I mean by that is now I'm working with the developers a lot more closely in that they're doing what they love. They're writing code and applications. They don't want to have to worry about deploying. They don't want to have to worry about making tweaks to the servers because usually they mess it up. And they don't want to have to deal with it. They want to just write code, deploy it, and then write more features, update it. And that's all they want to be concerned with. IT Pro, they just want to make sure that everything runs good, that nothing goes down. So now there's a lot of communication that needs to happen. So with DevOps, we automate a lot of this stuff. In that, now I get the package or the code from the devs. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go and I'm just going to put it in this variable, which is automatically going to deploy. It automatically knows how to deploy it because I've already configured it. It knows where to deploy it because I configured that. It knows how to alert me if something goes wrong. And they don't ever have to see that. All they know is they send it to me, and I send it to where it needs to go. And then it deploys it. Now the cool thing about that is, devs were going to get on their workstation. You might say, okay, I need to put this in the dev environment. I deploy it to the dev environment. Once it's in the dev environment, it goes through a process of what we call phasing, right? Because we want to make sure that it works. And then people test it. And then if they say, yep, it's automated, right? Everybody, they click a button that says, yep, it's good. Yep, it's good. Once they get a quorum, that's a little alert that they say, okay, now we're going to deploy the stage or pre-prod or whatever the next stage is. Mostly the same thing. And then once they're saying, okay, I get an alert that says, okay, we're ready to deploy it to production. You go through the proper, change control request. All right, when are we going to have some downtime? Actually, we can do like, zero downtime. Okay, because we've got a large enough farm to where everything is up here. We deploy it, redirect everybody to where the new stuff is. I'll take the ones that we took offline, and then all of a sudden everybody's nice, happy, holding hands, singing Kumbaya. And the cool thing about that is we make sure that there's no drift. A drift, what I mean is, how many times have you heard, this isn't working? And someone said, works on my station, works over on my machine. The problem is, the reason why we get that is because of what we call drift. This configuration of this machine drifted from the other machine. It's not the same. And so when they make the change to configuration, voila, all of a sudden it works. We, as DevOps engineers, make sure that the configuration stays the same. And that's called desired state configuration. That's something that comes with PowerShell. With PowerShell, we make sure that the configuration of my SharePoint farm is the same prod as it is in stage, as it is in development. If there is a change, I get an alert. It says, hey, this configuration changed. Do you want to allow it? No. It doesn't happen. Someone makes a change. Is this allowed? Yes. Would you like me to make this change in all the other environments? Yes. Boom. Boom. Now everybody's the same. That's this. Okay, so in order for all this to work, you have to go through a couple of steps. One, you got to download and install the binaries. Now, Eric has got some really cool stuff. He's got a module that automatically does all this. Very, very cool. I suggested that they actually do this in a GPO, a group policy object. Same thing, right? By putting in a group policy object, you log into the domain and install your binary. Right? People who don't use it, they don't even know the difference. Those who do, it's automatically installed. They don't have to go through these steps. Now, in order for it to work so that you don't get what I call the Heisman, permission denied, you must be a tenant global admin. No working if you are not the admin.
Is that above the top level?
That is the top level.
Well, okay, so let's say we each have top level sites.
Oh, it's above that, yes. You will be able to do certain things. For example, you want to create a new site, you will have that. You want to add users to your site.
Yeah, we have all that, but as a top level, and sub-sites under it, but nothing. Yeah, because we got somebody actually designed giving out the top levels now.
Oh, there's no that.
Right.
Because you're starting to deal with the tenant, which is basically your home, your network. Okay, and you have to be able to connect to SharePoint Online service. If you are offline, it's not going to work. Because SharePoint Online is online. So if you're not online, it's not going to work. Okay, those are the things. Okay, so demo, let's do this. All right, so I'm going to call up. So you see down here, I've got the PowerShell icons here. I like the ISE. Now I know somebody. Do you use Visual Code?
Yeah.
You use it. I mean, for PowerShell, or do you use the ISE? See, that's another difference between a developer and IT pro. We're very slow to change. We're like, man, you know, I could run this with code, but I can do some really cool things here. I know you can do some cool things with code too, but. All right, cool. So this is the PowerShell ISE, or what does that stand for? Integrated Scripting Environment. Okay, so if I were on premises, I would, at this point, I would type in add-ps. Yes. Ooh, yes, because that's really small, isn't it? Is that good? All right. Okay, so this actually will connect to Azure AD. See, this is another thing. So there are different things that you connect to. There are different modules that you connect to. So I've already installed the Azure AD module. I've already installed the Microsoft Online module. I've already installed it. In order to connect to them is a different deal here, right? So here is the code, and I will make this. We can, let's see, share the slides. Where do we put our slides? If I wanted everybody to have the slides. Do we have a place for, do we have a repository? You know what I could do is just share my link on our meetup, and then for my OneDrive, and everybody can download them.
Well, I'm kind of putting everyone towards meetup and LinkedIn right now. So
okay.
Messaging on both platforms until we figure out
where
the future state of our one. So if you want to send me the deck or a link to it, that's fine.
Okay.
I'll post it and then I'll post the message somewhere about it.
That way you guys can say, oh man, I really wish I had that code, because now all you have to do is just copy and paste, because it works in every environment. The reason why it works everywhere is because I asked you. So how many of you are not familiar with PowerShell? Okay. So a couple of things here, primers. Right here, when you see that $sign, that means variable, which means a variable, right? I could stick something in there. So in this particular case, what I'm saying is I'm creating a variable and I'm giving it a name, and I'm calling that variable admin UPN. I can call it anything. I can call it food. Doesn't matter what it is. But I'm calling it admin UPN because to me that means this. Okay. Read host means I am going to present a pop-up to the user. And the pop-up is going to have whatever is in quotes. Okay? This is what the pop-up is going to ask. It's going to say, what is the global admin user account? Okay, cool. This hash symbol is a comment. That's how you comment in PowerShell. Like in C#, it was 2 forward slashes. Okay. What is it in different things? So this is how you do it in PowerShell. Okay, so that means PowerShell sees that hash, and it says, okay, I'm not going to process this. I'm just going, this is for the user, not for me. And it says, okay, this is the full email address of the SharePoint administrator account, blah, blah, blah. I explained it. This is how you document code. How many of you developers, how many of you document your code? You liar!
I'm not lying. Because I keep taking over positions. It takes half the day just to figure out what they did. If you just can read, then you can be like, oh, I get it.
That's what I keep trying to say, man. I go to somebody else's code, I'm like, what? Okay, then I got to actually, I'm like, yeah, all right, so this is what it's doing, but why did they do that? Explain why you did it that way.
You got to have, I do code review and QA now, example, for our stuff, and I require it. If you don't document your code, it doesn't go through.
Rejected. Nice. Good on you.
CLMS. I was just like, we got to sell it. We got to sell it. Build it. Let's go. There's that option.
I'm telling you, I mean, it doesn't take long as you're doing it. And, and now PowerShell accepts regions, right? So regions allow you to group things. So even though this is like very, very simple, I don't have to have any regions in here, but there are some times where I've got scripts that are very complex. And I'll have some functions in there and then things like that. And so what I want to do is group them. I'm like, okay, this function does this. So and then I can put in a region and then put my comment right here. This region or this function does this. And I was blah, 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 blah. And I was thinking this way. I was going to iterate through this and do this and it's going to do this. Put it in. And then start the next region. All right, so here I run that first one. And the cool thing is, let's say I'm going to hit F8. I'll go back.
What's the symbol for doing a region?
You just, it's pound region.
Hashtag region?
Yep. You just hashtag, then you close it's a tag.
Oh, well, isn't that what it is in C#? Isn't it?
Yeah. Yes, same thing.
Okay.
Same thing. That's, C# PowerShell.
But the comment is also?
Yes.
So in C#, the comment block is /* star // In PowerShell, a comment block is less than #hashtag.
/ #. That's the closing tag.
Well, when you're done,
Actually, let's do it here.
I've got a script that has all our.
So you see how that all turned green?
Yeah.
Green means it's all a comment. So if I want to end this here,
Hashtag.
boom.
Okay.
And you can take the / off.
Okay. So now all of that is a comment. And I do regions that way. So I just say region, and then I end it with that, and then everything that's in there, and then Control M expands them, and then we'll contract them. If it goes for like many, many lines. That way you can go to a certain region if you want to without having to go through all of the code. You can hit Control M and it shrinks them all into region 1, region 2, region 3, region 4, and then you could say, okay, that's the one I want, and it'll just expand that region.
So in PowerShell, I know for mine, I can in C# right click to do collapse to okay.
So yeah, you can cut, you can start a snippet, run a particular selection, create a toggle point, breakpoint.
It depends on the IDE. Visual Studio.
Yeah, you'll get more.
Yeah, the PowerShell tools installed for Visual Studio. You can right click and do some things, and it's context sensitive.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, so now shift in. So now hitting F8, which is the same as this, okay, will only run that line. Boom. There it is. There's the pop-up. What is the global admin user account? So whatever I type in here goes into that variable. Okay, so now I'm going to type in rick.taylor@zacdev.com. Boom. That's it. So now, if I invoke that variable, it's going to tell me what it stores. See? It knows that is because that's what it stored. That was what the code did. Okay, cool. So now let's go to the next line. Org name. What is the org name? What is that? Domain name. Look at the comment. It says use the NetBIOS name, not the FQDN. Okay, so my org name is zacdev.com, but that's the fully qualified domain name. I only want the part before the com. So it'd be zacdev in this case. So let's run line 2. F8. What's the org name? Zach Dev. No .com. Enter. Boom. Did it store it? Well, let's look. What was the name of the variable? Question org name. There it is. Let's store it there. Zach Dev. So now we know that admin UPN has rick.taylor@zacdev.com and $org name has ZachDev. Cool. All right, so now that we've got the username and the org name, we need it to take that username and its password. Okay? That is the get credential command. Okay, get credential means, okay, I am going to take whatever you put in this dialog and I'm going to encrypt it. I'm going to store it. Okay, so F8, and up comes the dialog. It says, okay, the username is already $admin. Password, I'm going to type in the password, and it's going to store it in there. Boom. So now I got the user credential and the password. And now, with all that information, I can now connect to SharePoint Online. How do you know it's working? When you get nothing. I know, huh? No, like, congratulations or successful. Nothing happens. That's how you know you're successful. Now I am connected to SharePoint Online. Oh, well, what can I do there? Well, let's take a look. How about if I want to look at my users? Get SPO. Now, see, when I installed the module, I got all that SPO stuff. So when if you were on, for example, in your case, on premises, you type in the add PS snapping, you actually do this before you do it. Open up PowerShell, type in get-sp, and look at your options. You will get none. No options. After you do the add PS snapping, Microsoft PowerShell, you enter, and you type in get-sp, you'll get a whole bunch. Actually, like 750 options. Why? Because you added the module. When I install the SharePoint Online module, I get all the SPO ones. How many? 128. I remember when it had 75. Actually, I remember when there were like 15. They just keep adding them. I don't know how many they got now. I think it was 100. Let's see. Here we go. We're going to test everybody's PowerShell. You can't say anything.
Oh, man.
No. If I want to figure out how many commandments there are for SharePoint Online, what would I type? Okay, so PowerShell is real simple in that you have a verb hyphen noun. Beautiful. Verb hyphen noun. That's how PowerShell works. Simple as that. Okay, so now the verb, you get about 5 choices. Get, set, new, remove, delete, add.
There's a clue add.
That's about it. That's about it. About 6, maybe 2 or 3 more, but that's it. 6 verbs, that's it.
No total.
I mean, as far as verbs are concerned, because that's all you're going to do. You're going to get something. You're going to set something, which means make it so. You're going to remove something, which is delete. You're going to add something, which is add something. You're going to...
Minus.
What is it?
Is there a minus if there's an add?
No. Add means to put.
Right. But
To take out,
take
remove.
away, remove, okay.
Yeah, so add, remove.
I got a list here.
New. Oh, here you go. Actually, there's a way to find out, actually. It's, I go, like all verb, get command.
98 verbs.
98 verbs?
98 approved verbs from all
Oh, okay. Okay. So that's Windows, Exchange, SQL, blah, 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 everything. So there's 98. I can't even think of, that's crazy. Like, oh, Mount, I forgot about, so for SharePoint, that's SQL, but SharePoint is SQL. So there's Mount, this Mount, I forgot all about those. So yeah, certain things that you do with certain objects. So anyway, we want to find out how many commandlets there are just for SharePoint Online. So if I want to get those, right, get dash, now I want all SPO, right? So I'm going to say SPO, what is the character that means all? Star. A star, right? The asterisk. Okay, now, if I do that, and I just hit the enter key, what is going to happen? It's going to give me everything that starts with the SPO, and it's going to go. And unless I'm like Data on Star Trek Next Generation, there's no way I'm going to count all those. All right, so here you go. You ready? Count them. Oh, wait. Get dash. Yeah, SPO star. It should give it to me. Oh, that's it. Get command. So yes, because PowerShell was flipping out. It's like, you want me to get everything? You want me to get everything for SPO and put it under? No, dude, I'm not going to do that. That's why I was complaining. But when I say get command, it's going to show me all of the commands. So GCM means get command. It's an alias. Get command, there we go, get dash star, or SPO star. There we go. Whoop, just like that. Did everybody count them? All right. So now, if I didn't count them, how do I get those? So let's start a variable. I'm going to store that in a variable. So now, $W is all of those commandments in $W. Right? This is the command that I typed at the very beginning, and now I stored them all in $W. Now it's got cool properties with it. Okay, so if I hit $W and I hit the period, ooh, look what I can do. Right. Right? So I want to count those. Okay, how many? 43. There are 43 SPO commandments. I thought there were more than that, but you know what I did? I think I know what I did. I got everything that had an SPO in it. Like this, $S equals get command, get dash star, SPO star.
Take off the get dash. You're only getting gets.
Ooh, star. There we go. That's why. So now that it's, yeah, I'm only getting the get. So there's 43 gets, but how many of the other ones are? Ooh, yeah. So now all of the verbs for SPO is what I say here, right? Get command for get, set, delete, add, remove, blah, 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 for my SPO commandlets. And tell me how many there are. How many? 128. All right. So there you go. So if I want to find out in my tenant how many users there are. Now, this is another funky thing about SharePoint Online. With SharePoint on premises, when I say get SP user, it just gives it to me. For SharePoint Online, you can have different, which is really cool in a way. It's kind of, you can have different users on different sites. So I have to tell it which site I want it to tell me for what users. And the thing is, it doesn't have an all parameter for SP user, which is weird. But let's say I want the main site. Right? Tell me all the users for the main site. And there we are. Cool. I have other sites. Oh, I thought that was, let's just give it all. That'll be good enough. Get SPO site dash, isn't that right? Get SPO site, oh, yeah. All. All right, so this tells me all of my sites. If I said get SPO user, and I could specify any of these sites, it would tell me which or what users are in any of those sites. Okay, now, kind of running over here, but let me show you some things here. I want to add some users and groups. Okay, so here's some code here. And I tell you, next line reads from a CSV file, create site collections in the list. Cool. Where's that CSV file? I show where it is right here. Okay, so it's a CSV file. It will read from that and create those users. The next one, create an SPO site according to which site collections were created. Next line, reads from CSV file, creates groups, assigns permissions. Just like that. So let's run this code. Site already exists. Okay. That one already exists. Boom. Okay, cool. So that's still running. Still creating. It's creating the groups and assigning permissions. Yeah. This user does not exist, or yeah, so you can only add a user that exists, obviously, because if I said go to that list, add that user, if the user doesn't exist, you can't do that. So cool. Yeah, it's awesome. So now I can go to these. Let's open that up. Users, conferences. There we go. Okay, so here is the CSV file for users. So what PowerShell did was it went to this and it created these users and it put them in these sites. So if I went back here to PowerShell, remember how I said show me all my users? Well, here's all the users. It created them. Well, actually, these are groups. Created those groups. Let's go back. See these users here? These are, when I said show me all my users, there are no test users here. But after I created all those users now, those are the groups. Oh, you know what? I think I ran it before the users. Yeah. I was supposed to run another script before that created those users. So those users still don't exist, and that's why it failed. Okay. So that's basically what you can do with SharePoint Online. You can read just like you can from regular PowerShell on premises, but read from CSV files, and then it'll run all of these. I love me some PowerShell. All right, let's get back.
Is there an easy way to tell what your management shell version that you have installed is, and if there's an updated version, is there an updater?
That's the cool thing. Automatically. When you go to actually PowerShell Gallery, it's another cool thing.
So I just checked out where I have mine installed. Installed it months ago. I only have 66 SPs.
Really? So if you go to the PowerShell Gallery and you install this PowerShell Get, it's another module that you install. It will go out there periodically when you fire it up and update it. Now one thing that it doesn't do, which is weird, but I like to do this myself, is about, I don't know, monthly, I do the update help commandlet, and it updates all those files. But yeah, you want to go to the PowerShell Gallery, PowerShellGallery.com, and install this PowerShell Get.
So that runs automatically when you launch PowerShell.
Yep.
You know, like, once you install it, you have to type PowerShell Get. Right?
Nope.
Okay.
It's awesome.
So it looks at every module that you have installed.
It probably looks at the version, and if the version matches, it knows it doesn't need to install anything.
And that right there is library would be a big problem for me. Going to the library.
Yes.
Hey Cole, there's John in here. I'll just talk, I don't need your machine. So, what I have going on at Catapult is I have a team of developers. And you hear me talk about PnP all the time. We use the PnP PowerShell. PnP is dependent upon Microsoft's SharePoint Online stuff, right? But particular versions. So if I always have the latest PnP and the latest Microsoft, there are going to be issues because typically the latest PnP is dependent upon not the latest version of Microsoft, but a previous version. So if you're working with libraries that depend on others or modules that depend on others, there is a kind of cautionary tale there that you want to be a little careful on that. And I figured that out trial by error. I always have the latest stuff. Why isn't this commandlet working today when it worked yesterday? I updated the PnP module, but not the SharePoint one from Microsoft.
Right.
And so now there's a conflict. And so I've had those issues. So just something to be aware of.
You don't have to worry about so PowerShell 6 core, you don't have to worry about that because they can be side by side. Now I think that works with PnP though.
Most of the time. So interestingly enough, when PnP started writing their custom commandlets, there was a Microsoft commandlet for get-spo site. PnP wrote one called get-spo site. Two commandlets with the same name. And all hell breaks loose. Right? You don't know what you're using or why or whatever. So later on, after some trial and error, PnP started down what they thought was a good path. Let's follow Microsoft's naming convention. Not a good idea in that case. Now all the PnP commands are PnP whatever, get-PnP site, get-PnP web. And that's kind of they use PowerShell approved verbs, which are documented. You're never going to find a PowerShell verb that's deploy. I don't believe that's an approved verb.
Right.
from the PowerShell committee, whoever decides that stuff, right? But all the PNP stuff has that PNP prefix on those nouns.
Yeah, on the nouns.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool stuff.
It is very cool stuff. All right, so I thought I had a couple other slides that went after that. Well, I guess I didn't. But so kind of a recap. For SharePoint Online, download those binaries, make sure you're global admin. You're good to go. You don't have to reinstall them, or once you do it, you're good. I would recommend that you do that on your laptop, not on the server. Okay? I would install, SharePoint Online, you're not going to download it on the server from the laptop. But in the case of on-prem, you're going to have to put the PS stack in on that server. Because you're actually on that server running PowerShell. There is a workaround where you would use the PowerShell web, PW